Someone recently asked me, what do you do for a living? I travel, I read a book, listen to music, grab a pint of beer, and catch up with my friends. But how do you make money doing that? For that I work, but that is not living. Good morning, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The only question I get asked these days is, when are you getting married? A few years back, the question used to be, what are your career plans? And if you rewind it a little more, the question used to be, which stream are you going to choose? It is more like choosing from a given set of options every few years. Just like playing Kaun Banega Crorepati. What is at stake over here is your life. Why do we need to keep planning in advance? What is this obsession with doing everything at the perceived right time? And if you fail to do so, you stop being the perfect person. Let's flash back a little to our school days. How many of you remember that front bench class topper who will always complete his homework on time? Who will remind the teacher of a forgotten class test? The teacher's pet, whom almost the entire class hated? I used to be that guy. That perfect student. But once, on a whim, I decided to bunk a lecture. And it felt so different. But of course, I got caught. And that entire impression of a perfect student just shattered. Back home, we belong to the middle class frame of things. I wasn't very demanding in terms of fancy toys and international vacations. I would take care of myself and my brother when my parents went to work. I was good at academics and I did not waste time in Cartoon Network and sports. All those fancy gadgets came very late into my life. I was that silent and obedient son. That perfect son your parents will compare you to. But post-graduation, I realized there was life outside the four walls of my family home. And decided not to go back. And that entire impression of a perfect son just shattered. As part of the Chartered Accountancy curriculum, we are required to undergo training, for which I joined a corporate company. Within a few months, I became the favorite of my managers because of course I was good at my work, but I never refused any assignment. It spoiled my weekends and I had to bunk a lot of lectures. Immediately post-qualification, my senior made a statement. Hardik, you are a chartered accountant now. You cannot make these mistakes. I'm not even sure what changed overnight. I was one of the highest rated employees for 2 years in a row. Of course, to the envy of my peers. While I was enjoying my work, this is not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so, I quit. And the entire impression of a perfect employee just shattered. But you know what? When that impression shattered, I felt free. I felt I wasn't obligated anymore. I felt my actions did not count, my repercussions did not matter. I was allowed to make mistakes. Toastmasters is a platform where we learn by making mistakes. Around 3 years back, I joined Mumbai Toastmasters because nobody knew me here and I had no impression to live up to. But gradually, with taking up leadership roles and being a mentor to fellow members, I started waiting for that perfect script, the perfect hand gestures, the perfect voice modulation before coming on stage. I started avoiding table topics and enveloping myself with the idea of being that idealist Toastmaster. In the quest of trying to be that perfect employee, the perfect son, the perfect sibling, the perfect friend, the perfect student, and the perfect Toastmaster, we stop being ourselves. We start believing that perfection is the way of life. All these years in trying to be the ideal person in the eyes of our teachers, parents, and employees, we start having this protective shield or layer of perfection around us, which is so difficult to break out from. We pretend to be comfortable in these shoes that do not fit us. And while doing all of this, we are living a lie. And no, I'm not going to tell you that be yourself, because this is not your fault. All our lives we have been taught to imbibe the lifestyle of that average Joe, who is not average by the way, and the Sharma ji ka beta. And just as robots, we go on following their path without questioning anything. Because the whole idea of not matching people's expectations is burdening. I'm sure everyone in the room have heard of Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of PepsiCo. This story dates back to almost 20 years. When she came back, when she was promoted as the president of board of directors of PepsiCo. Instead of working late that night, she decided to go back home and celebrate it with her family. She came home and told her mom, I have some news to share with you. The news can wait. First go and get some milk. And she looked around. Her husband was home. He's tired. Why did you not send the house help? I forgot. Now stop asking questions and go get some milk. And like a dutiful daughter, she just did that. But when she came back, she banged that container of milk on the table and told her mom, I had some news to share with you. I have been promoted as the president of board of directors of PepsiCo, and all you want me to do is get some milk? Her mom looked at her and told her, you might be the president of board of directors of PepsiCo. When you walk into that door, you're a wife, you're a daughter, you're a daughter-in-law, you're a mother. You're all of these roles, and no one else can do that instead of you. A few years later, she was promoted as the CEO of PepsiCo, and she admits that the biggest mistake or the whole idea of being perfect CEO, the biggest sacrifice she made was that of her family. Every day, every moment, she had to choose which hat she was going to wear, of an executive, of a wife, of a mother. And taking up any role means sacrificing something else. All these roles were unfortunately mutually exclusive. She admits that if you are juggling between these roles, you're not crazy, you're simply human. In Japanese culture, wabi-sabi means embracing authenticity over perfection. In many ways, Nooyi opted for authenticity over painting a veneer of perfection. And that is by far going to be her most long-lasting legacy. Yes, I have cheated in exam hall. I have fought with my parents. I have bunked work to catch up on a movie. And I have lied on several occasions. And I'm an amalgamation of all these not so perfect things. I do not want to fit in the shoes that do not fit me anymore. And that, in accordance with the Japanese culture of wabi-sabi, perfection can be created out of imperfection. Look at all of us. We all play so many characters in various situations throughout the day. I'm not the same person at home when I'm with my friends, or when I'm at work, or when I'm a Toastmaster. I'm different shades of myself, each one coming out, and the original one coming out only for a few minutes in the shower every day. So Mr. Toastmaster of the day, when are you going to stop wearing those uncomfortable shoes and break that image of trying to be the perfect team? Over to you.